I walked away from my own wedding after my groom's best man humiliated me with a cruel prank, and even 8 months later, he won't stop trying to fix it. Hey there, Redditors. This is an angry venting session, a cry for help, but relax. I'm doing better now. It's just the feminine rage at the moment. I'll jump straight to the situation and share an unbiased experience. So, I left my groom at the altar 8 months ago. Yeah, I know how that sounds, but before you all judge me, hear me out. The person who breaks off a relationship is normally thought to be the heartless one, because how can they hurt when they caused it, right? But that is not true. People in my situation will understand what I'm talking about. Well, everyone sympathizes with the person getting dumped. No one seems to care about the person who gathers up enough courage to end the relationship, not defending toxic people who hurt their partners. But some people just make you miserable until that becomes your reality. It can be in so many forms. Some men are emotionally distant. Some are always too busy with everything except for their partners. Some don't have the guts to stand up for their partners. Some disrespect their partners and label them as mere jokes. Some undermine them, gaslight them, and break off their confidence anytime they do anything remotely good to shine or get success. My man had all of these wonderful traits. Yeah, that's a start right there. And let's not even try analyzing the character of his wonderful best friend, who had all of these qualities at some sort of an enhanced level. These two men made my life miserable for so long that I thought that this was how one was supposed to live. The amount of peace that I have in my life presently, after I kicked them out of my life, is something out of this world. But they're back, creating mass because who screams chaos other than them? So, to make you guys understand this, I have to take you back to my college days. Yes, I admit that I was stupid enough to date this man for 4 long years, but I was the stupidest to accept his proposal and decide to become his wife. So, my ex and his best friend have been pretty close since kindergarten, and they are very similar to each other, the same sexist, misogynistic, insecure, overconfident traits. It wasn't always so bad. I had my good days with my ex. Initially, he was very charming, and believe me when I say this, that man knew how to be charming. He wanted to impress me, and it worked. The first few months were really good, after which, one after the other, the layers started falling off as I could see his real self. It started with him being always unavailable and busy while he was busy partying with his friends. This was what started the issues. And next was this, him gaslighting me into thinking that I was crazy and delusional and insecure for asking him why he wouldn't give me his time. This continued for quite some time, and once college was over and I was looking for a job, he'd laugh at my face in front of our friends, urging others to join in. His approach was something like this: "You'd never get hired, LOL. Even if you do, you'll be fired." This was coming from my man and his best friend, who, seeming to enjoy this, would always add, "Thank God you're pretty. They hired you as an eye candy, lol." It felt so disrespectful and annoying, and my ex would just laugh. Every time I argued with my ex, he would share it all with his friends. He would include a third person in our issues, and his best friend would call me all sorts of names and label me as a dramatic and impulsive woman. A typical woman who overreacts to everything and obsesses too much about unnecessary stuff. They'd make fun of me everywhere, to the point where it was hurtful. He'd comment on my way, my appearance, my dressing sense, and all of that, while my ex would just sit around and laugh. Now, if I start talking about these, I have countless examples, but that's not what we are here for. So, as the wedding planning started, it was practically his best friend deciding everything. I was the bride, and I was supposed to have my dream wedding, but no matter what I liked. We would only go ahead with what his friend was choosing, and at times I felt like he was intentionally choosing something that I did not like to spite me. For example, I didn't like the orange flavor, and he decided to have that for my wedding cake. My ex chose what his friend chose and made me choose the same. Even my wedding dress was not my choice. This man, my ex's best friend, was some sort of perfectionist, and my dream dress was too tacky for his taste. All of these went on, and I endured until I couldn't. On my wedding day, something horrible happened, but now when I look back, I'm very glad for it. So, my ex's best friend decided to have fun by arranging a prank, something highly disrespectful, and that's not all. He said some mean words too. I'll explain. A pregnant woman who brought in, and it was announced by none other than my groom's best man, his best friend, that he must not marry this stupid, ugly hag, referring to me, while he had such a lovely girlfriend already, pregnant with his kid. And this was not something happening in a room with only the 4 of us. No, this was happening right in front of all the wedding guests. I was horrified and did not know how to react. As my eyes started watering, he started laughing and then looked at my groom, asking if he really wanted to deal with this dramatic stupidity for the rest of his life. He was being so mean to me for no reason, while I was just standing there unable to say a word or even cry. This went on for about 30 minutes, And I was on the edge when the girl and these two men started laughing. I never felt so weak in my life. I felt like my heart was breaking and I was dying while these people were just laughing at my face. And then they said that it was a prank. A prank. Can you imagine how that would feel? After disrespecting me like that in front of all the guests and using such words against me, they just laughed it off, labeling it as a joke. And when I started yelling at them, they simply yelled back, saying I was really stupid to not even understand how to react to a joke. That was enough for me to understand that this was not what I wanted to deal with for the rest of my life. And so I left. I left my groom at the altar and just went away. They tried to fix it, but I left and went MIA for around 2 weeks. I needed space to heal from this extreme mental torture. I will not go into heavy details explaining how I healed, but it was not an easy journey. From taking therapy, crying myself to sleep, or being unable to sleep, and finally getting hospitalized with dehydration and poor food habits because I was starving myself. It was a bad trip, but I did heal. Not completely. There was still something that made my eyes water when I thought about it all, but I was working on fixing that too. That's what needed to be fixed, not my shallow relationship which this horrible man is trying to fix presently. Like I said, it's been 8 months, and my ex's best friend is taking his duty to be a best man too seriously after ruining my wedding himself. Call after call, text after text. From coming to my house to my workplace, he has tried everything possible to make me want to go back to my ex. He thinks that this is a problem that just needs to get fixed when I clearly told him that I was done with the relationship and had moved on. He simply asked if I was dating anyone new. It's like if there was another man in my life, he would probably leave me alone. But as a woman, my choice to be single yet not in love with my ex was not acceptable to them. It was a problem that needed to be fixed. A stupid prank that got out of hand, which now needs to be solved. I am so done with this. It's mentally draining because every time this man tries to talk about the past, it brings up bad memories. Give me some advice, guys. Update 1, thank you for such wonderful comments. When I thought about writing this, it was more of a venting idea. I did not expect people to be this involved. Reading your comments made me feel like I am some movie character, and you guys are making theories of your own. So I saw a few comments talking about a restraining order, and I think that's a brilliant idea. I don't know why I did not think about that myself, but it's never too late. Speaking of my current situation, things are getting really annoying because he has started contacting my friends now that I blocked his number. This is really frustrating. I'm simply trying to live my life in the best possible way, and he is doing everything possible to prevent it. I will get that restraining order, you know. Update 2, guys, I got that restraining order, and guess what? Got a text from the girlfriend of my ex's BFF, claiming that her boyfriend was only being nice. But this move of mine made her believe that I was not worth it because it was such a dramatic thing. Like, dude, is their entire clan going to bother me now? I'm so frustrated. Literally so much. It's all just the same old drama, and I'm sick of it. Update 3, hey there. Hopefully this will be my last post. So, I don't know if this was the right thing to do or not, but I contacted my ex, and we had a long discussion. I made it very clear that I was no longer interested in him and would never get back to him, ever. Although I am labeling it as a discussion, it was mostly me speaking and him agreeing with my sentences. I told him that if his friend didn't stop, I'd have to take serious legal steps, as if the restraining order wasn't already enough. He assured me that I would not be bothered again, and he will talk to his friend. It's been a week, and I have not heard from him or his best friend. I really hope it stays like this because I am so done with these people, and I don't trust them at all. Venting over here has been therapeutic, and you guys are good people. Thanks. I'm signing off for now. NTA, but your ex and his best friend definitely a-hole. God, reading this made me so annoyed at them. I can't imagine how you put up with such behavior. I'm proud of you for not going back. I can understand what sort of trauma bond you might have developed. More power to you. NTA, and the audacity of these men to even involve the girlfriend here. Like, seriously, such cheap people. You deserve so much more than these good-for-nothing people. Next story. I'm 18, female. My brother John, 20, started dating his girlfriend Holly, 20, last year. For context, John and I come from a very religious family. John's the oldest of 9. We're all homeschooled, and religion is very important, but we've never had much issues. John especially, but he met Holly a couple of months ago, and well, she gave my mom a heart attack. I'm not judging her at all, but she's had multiple boyfriends before my brother, posts on her social media quite a bit, and dresses in things that are inappropriate maybe. I'm ashamed to admit, but I wasn't very nice to her, but that's just because I wanted to be like her so bad. My mom was especially hard on her though. She says some crazy things about her dating history, about how she corrupted John, etc. My mom always had this kind image, so seeing her act like how she did woke me up. John moved out to live with Holly and doesn't talk to our parents anymore. He's different. My mom's heartbroken. Dad is too, but he's ignoring the issue, while my mom's stuck on how the vile creature stole her good and pure son. I think it's ridiculous, but I do feel for my mom a bit, so I've kept my mouth shut. But yesterday she saw Holly and John. According to my little sibling that was with my mom, they were acting all cutesy and in love. My mom was enraged. She started ranting about how girls like Holly are the evilest kind, and that while she's lost her son to her, at least her daughters are good girls. She then came up to me and made me promise to never be like Holly. I was going to promise her at first, but I was just so tired of her nonsense. I said, no. She looked a bit surprised, and I kinda lost it and said that Holly's actually really cool and a much better person than most women I've met. Her body count or the way she dresses be damned. I saw my mom start to cry, but I couldn't help it. I told my mom that to me, Holly is a better person than she'll ever be, and also that I'd rather be just like Holly than like her. My mom cried even harder and said that I broke her heart just like John did, and also said she can't believe I'm choosing Holly over her. She ran to her room and hasn't really come out since. My dad's upset with me and I feel terrible now. I should have just not said anything, but it felt really good to tell her. Holly really is a good person, and I miss John. I hate that my mom ruined things, but maybe it isn't fair for me to do what I did. Tia. NTA. Your mother is a freaking Apache helicopter of helicopter parents. It definitely seems like your mom has made no attempt to get to know Holly and only wants to judge her. This kind of behavior will only drive more of her kids away and make them never want to talk to your mom again. Sounds like your mother's been trying to teach all about the hate and religion instead of love. NTA because you're still young and I'm guessing a bit sheltered in the house of rules and beliefs. Your brother stepped out and into the 21st century modern world, and it is his choice if he wants to join it. While the bursting out could have been handled better, I think it is great you don't stay oppressed in your thoughts and your mom was shaming the poor girl. Good luck. It may be a rough road until you are a legal adult to choose what you want. Next story, AITA, for finally telling my brother the truth but throwing my parents under the bus to do so. I, 36 male, used to run a company with my 35 male brother and both my parents. It was supposed to be the dream of the sons taking over the family business. I had the ability to work in every department, so over the course of the last 10 years, I progressed to running the company. My brother, who worked harder than anyone else, floundered with any real responsibility. He was the ultimate task doer, but asked him to manage anyone or anything, and it would be a dumpster fire. My parents would protect my brother by tying my hands behind my back, in regards to saying anything bad to my brother about the quality of his work, or how he was failing at being a manager. My parents did not want his feelings to be hurt. My brother would get moved to a different department, or have his job description changed so he wasn't in charge of anything that would hurt the company, me. They would never tell him he wasn't doing his job right. They would never tell him he sucked at his job. It was easy for them to lie to him so they could avoid any conflict or hurt feelings. I was complicit with this. I kept up the lies. I played the game. Resentments grew. My brother was still getting paid the same as me. I was running the company at this point. He was basically still in an entry-level position. So, 2 years ago, I started a different company and left the family one. Less than a year later, my parents asked me to come back. I accepted on condition that my brother would be bought out of the company. They agreed. So, with my brother being bought out, I am now running the company solo. We gave him a group of our customers that he now services under his own company name. Life is good, or so I thought. I found out from one of my employees that my brother has been stealing products out of our warehouse. They were under the impression that he had some sort of deal worked out with me because we were family. Nope. He was just plain stealing. So when I confronted my brother, he admitted to stealing but went off on this rant on how I never respected him, that I was the biggest a-hole because I was mean, and on and on. So then and there, I decided to stop lying and essentially told him all of the lies from the last 10 years, how he got the short end of the stick because no one ever told him what he was doing was wrong. How our parents just didn't want to hurt his feelings, but knew he couldn't run the company. I was done lying. I just sat there and told the truth. So, my parents are now mad at me because he's mad, like mad, and he has gone no contact with them. And they are worried that they won't be able to ever see him or their grandchildren again. So, AITA for finally telling my brother the truth but throwing my parents under the bus to do so. Edit to add more information to this story. It was not like my brother was thrown into a situation without training. We provided informal training on how to learn more about the business, like this is how we do the books. Come with me on the job site so I can show you this. Formal training, both trade-specific and management courses. He was not thrown to the wolves. He just never cared to pick it up or try to step up. I left the company because of the toxic environment and all of the built-up resentments. I came back to the company because my parents' retirements are tied to the company, and without a son to run it or a sale, they would have lost everything. I still run the other company I started. Last I knew, I was an a-hole for what I did to my brother. When I told him the truth, I was also apologizing to him for my part in all of it. I was asking if I was the a-hole for throwing my parents under the bus in the truth apology. Esh, stealing is wrong. Your brother shouldn't do that. But you and your parents set your brother up for inevitable failure. You claim to have run every department in this company, and you went along with your parents and lied to your brother. You were complicit in this. If your brother was in a role and he failed, that's on him. But if you all let him constantly fail and moved him from department to fail again, you're ultimately failing your other employees and the company.